Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new here. My name's Brittany. I post makeup related content every single Friday. This week I am doing a full face of products I hate. I will mention this later on, but I do still use a lot of these products. I do not hate them enough to never use them. They do work for certain things or with certain things, but they do not work consistently for me. And at the end of the video, I will speedily do a full face of products I love, so then you guys can see the difference, and I will very quickly explain why I love those products. Let's get into it. A lot of these products I do still use on a regular basis, partially because I just don't have the alternatives quite yet. I am slowly increasing my makeup supplies and slowly getting replacements and alternatives for every single product, but there are a select few that I have not been able to, so you do see me use them regularly. Starting off with primer, I have the Ulta Beauty Poreless Face Primer. This stuff I very rarely use. I personally just don't like the texture of this. I feel like it feels like an oil. This stuff is a good option if you're looking for something cheap, if you can get past the texture, but again, I can't. It feels way too much like an oil. It feels like there's just oil on my face. This product claims reduce the appearance of pores, fine lines, and wrinkles. I do think it does that to an extent, but I have other primers that work better for that for me, but I enjoy the texture a lot more on. For foundation, this is one that I do not hate enough to never use. I do use this a lot of times if I'm not using my Yensa Super Serum Silk or my NARS. e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation is usually the one that I'll reach for. I just don't love how this one looks on my skin. A lot of times it looks pretty cakey. It just clings to the dead skin on my face if I have any, which I'm having a pretty bad acne flare up right now, and usually when I have those, this foundation just doesn't sit right on my skin. But a lot of times you will see me use it in my Face Card Fridays, partially because I do like the shade, and I can usually get it to work because I am drawing stuff on my face. But for everyday wear, I do not reach for this one at all. I also need a lot of product to go full coverage with this. Shade match on this foundation is just too good never to use. If I come up close, you can already see it did not cover up any of my pimples, which is fine. I mean, I could work with that, but I have really full coverage foundations that I would rather use to get ready faster. As you can see on this pimple right here, it clings to the dead skin. I did exfoliate right before this and moisturize like I normally do, but it just keeps clinging. Next, I'm going to do concealer. Again, this is one that I don't really hate, but I don't really have a concealer that I like genuinely hate yet. So right now it's gonna have to be my e.l.f. Camo concealer. I just don't feel like this one blends well with my other foundations. I also feel like if I don't set this concealer immediately, it will crease. And paired with my e.l.f. powder, it separated under my eyes a lot, and I did not like that. I also just don't think it's full coverage enough to cover up my pimples, which again is fine, but it creates extra steps for me. With contour sticks and bronzers, I don't really have many cream products, so I just went with the Kavcent contour stick. I feel like too warm for me for a contour stick. As you can see, it's almost orangey. I personally lean more towards cool browns. This one's just a bit too warm for me, and the consistency, it just comes up pretty much immediately with my sponge. Then it's like I never even put anything there in the first place. For blush, I went with the Nudesticks Sweet Cheeks. I just don't love the applicator. It's very sticky, so it feels like it clings to my face when I apply it. But again, once I start blending it in, it disappears almost immediately. I've tried it on a no makeup day, and it looks like nothing is on my face. I've used brushes, my finger, beauty blenders, all of it does the same. I have to put like 10 different layers on for it to be pigmented enough to see. Now we're going to blend out my concealer that I've let sit. Once I first blend the concealer, it's great, but it's only been a few seconds and you can see it's already starting to crease. For powder, I went with the Ciete London Watermelon Burst. However, this used to be one of my favorite powders. I love the scent. It smells like watermelons. I loved the consistency until I found others that worked better. This stuff leaves a white cast on my skin a lot of times, and it does tend to break the product up ever so slightly. I do still occasionally use this one. I just have other powders that brighten more, blur more, and don't leave as much of a white cast on my skin, so I don't reach for this one as often. And it really enhances my texture. I don't know if you can see, but when I look in the mirror, all my pores down here are so massive. For bronzer, I actually love the product itself. It's the shade I don't like. I have the Scott Brown's contour palette. As you can see, they have so many different shades. Hashtag shade is probably my least favorite because it's almost like a red tone, and that carries over onto your skin. Now, if I was doing the no blush challenge, I would 100% use the shade because it almost acts as a blush, but it's like a bronzer blush in one. I personally don't love that, which is why we're using it right now. But all of the shades in this contour palette seriously blend out incredibly. So I do love the consistency. I love the product itself. I just don't love the shade. Blush was also a tough one. I have so many blushes that I love and then some that I don't love as much. The Hip Dot blush in Solstice is one that I don't love as much. I will use this one on certain looks, but I don't use this one on the regular. It's just not pigmented enough for me. It does not show up hardly at all. And the shade is a bit light. I have to really dig in for anything to pop through. The formula is pretty powdery, so when I do dig in, there's a lot of fallout that gets all over my clothes and all over everything. For highlighter, we're going to use the Estee Lauder All Over Shimmer. I don't love this product because it just feels too dry in the palette and it doesn't show up very well on your skin. It takes a few layers before it actually shows up on your skin, and it looks to me personally more like a blush than a highlight. It's very subtle, as you can see, and I don't love that it looks like texture instead of just highlight. I had to go in 3 times with my brush to get it pigmented enough so then you guys could see it. For lip plumper, we are going to use the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss. It says it has a plumping effect. I feel like it doesn't plump my lips at all, and I can't get over the scent. It almost smells like cookies and candy, but not in a good way. I do love the shimmer in this. I do not use this ever. I have other shimmers that are not as scented. I just really don't feel like the plumping aspect is there with this. Does it make them look wet? Absolutely. It's a gloss. It does not plump my lips. Moving on to eyeshadow, I have the LA Color Nude and Glam palette. This also used to be one of my favorite palettes. The matte shades are pretty good. They're just really powdery. They can take a while to blend out. But the shimmers in this palette do not come up easily with a brush or a finger. The shimmer took forever to apply and it's still not even. But I dipped into it about 20 times each eye. The shimmers are not pigmented. And they are buildable, but they take forever. I went with the LA Girl Line Art Matte Eyeliner in white. I just feel like there's not a lot of product in this. It dries out super easily. Instead of laying the product down, it just picks your eyeshadow up. I just really feel like it's not very practical. It's not easy to use. I am just not a fan of this one. For brows, I have the Billion Dollar Brow, the Triple Threat Triangular Brow Pencil. At first, if this is sharp, then it would be perfect. But as we all know, cream products, after they are used a few times, they dull out, and so this just is not a precise brow pencil anymore. If you're just filling in your brows, I think it would be fine. I like a more precise tip. I do appreciate that it has a spoolie so you can brush your brows out. I like to use a brow gel just to hold them in place all day. Almost forgot, as a little bonus for my dislike eyeliner, I have my glitter liner from DNM. It is so clumpy. I mean, it'll get the job done, but you have to spread it out. It is so clumpy. When you put it on your eyelids, it really sticks. It doesn't dry down super well. You can feel the chunks of glitter. I use it because it's the only glitter liner I have, but I assure you I will be getting more. Next up, we have mascara. I am using You Can Be mascara. This stuff is just really dry. Doesn't really coat your lashes. I've only used this a couple times, and it's already dried out pretty much. If you added something to it to make it wetter, if you heat it up, it might work better. And there's a bunch of little flakes under my eye already. This also used to be one of my favorites. It's also from LA Color, the Creamy Lip Liner. I used to think that this was the creamiest texture. In all honesty, it's not creamy. It is creamy, but it dries out really easily. If this is dried out, it does not apply as creamy as it just did. I sharpened it because it was dried out. Even if it's just in the lid that it's in, it tends to dry out really quickly. I have one that's pretty similar in price, and it's a lot creamier than that. I'm just not a big fan of not creamy pencil lip liners or eyeliners. They just hurt to apply. And if they dry out, it's like you're stabbing yourself in the face. For lip gloss, I went with the Revolution Pout Bomb Plumping Lip Gloss. I love the packaging. I think it's really cute, but it is so sticky when you put it on your lips. I'm fine if a lip gloss is sticky at first. This stuff, I just can't. Even when you pull it out of the tube, there's just a long string of gloss. It is just so stringy and sticky, and I can't get over that. Scent is very powerful. I think the shade is great. But if I smack my lips together or just talk and it's stringy like that, I don't want it. Can you imagine talking to someone face to face and then having your lips do that every single time that they touch? Not worth it to me. I'm actually gonna go take it off for the rest of this video. And lastly, we have setting spray. I am going with the Professional Super Setter by Benefit. In all honesty, I don't hate this one. I do like it. I do enjoy the mist. It's like a very fine mist. Scent is not fantastic. I'm setting my face. I need it to be sweat proof. I need it to be cry proof. I need it to be toddler proof. And this stuff just doesn't quite do it for me. But again, I really love the mist, so I do use this one occasionally. Now I'm gonna put on a full face of products that I love. Since I do publish a favorites video, and that was a week or two ago, I am not gonna go into deep detail as to why I love these products. I will do a quick voiceover. Let's get into that. I am prepping my skin the same as I usually would to give it a fair shot. My Yenza Super Serum Silk Foundation is so full coverage. It covers all of my redness and all of my acne. A little bit goes a long way. It doesn't cling to dead skin, and the finish is beautiful. My Flower Beauty Get Real Serum Concealer is super full coverage. It's slightly pink undertoned, so it brightens a bunch, and it doesn't crease even after it sits for a few minutes. My Nightmare Before Christmas Wet n Wild Contour Stick blends like a dream, and it's a cool toned, which makes me love it even more. My Ulta Beauty Cloud Blush blends like a dream as well, and it's quickly buildable. My Wet n Wild SpongeBob Cooling Loose Setting Powder both blurs and cools, and it's a pink shade, so it brightens without leaving that white cast on your face. My Too Faced Sun Bunny Bronzer is the perfect amount of glowy and buildable and blendable. My Sushi Glow Love Note Blush is super pigmented, super long lasting, and blends incredibly well. The Huda Beauty Empowered Eyeshadow Palette's formula is so creamy and just so beautiful. Everything goes on like a dream. The shimmers go on with one swipe, and everything is so easily blended. The Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb Highlighter can be subtle or bold, so I use it on my face and my eyelids. The Nabla Viper Lip Plumper both plumps and tingles perfectly for me. This white eyeliner is so pigmented, doesn't pick up your shadow, and is so long lasting. My e.l.f. brow pencil is precise, so I can get the hairs perfect. My Gimme Brow Benefit Gel keeps it in place all day, and then I use my spoolie to put it in the shape I want. My Essence False Lash Effect Mascara is amazing. I can get length and volume. Plus, it's cry-proof and doesn't flake on me. The Emco Beauty Lip Liner is so creamy, so pigmented, and it's hard to smudge. The NYX Duck Plump Lip Gloss is perfectly pigmented and is not nearly as sticky as the Revolution. This setting spray is cry-proof, sweat-proof, everything lasts all day. And here's the final look of products I love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I had tons of fun making it, and like I said at the beginning, I do not hate these products enough to never use them. I do use them frequently. These products just don't work as well for me. That doesn't mean that they won't work for you. e.l.f. foundation works for a lot of people, but I personally like my Yenza one more. Let me know in the comments what your least favorite products are and what some of your favorites are. As always, remember to subscribe for more weekly makeup content. See you guys next week.